I'm Dave Shields, owner of Kenosis Counseling Center, and I want to welcome you tonight. I am going to talk a little bit about a relationship helper exercise that we call the daily temperature reading. This exercise has been around for a couple of decades, and my wife and I have utilized this exercise in retreats, in workshops, in trainings, and in our own marriage to help us stay connected over time. In relationships, in marriages, in coupleships, usually after about 2 to 3 years, we stop working as hard as we did when we first met. And so the relationship can become stale. We stop doing things that we used to do that helped us stay connected, and stopped us from making those deposits in our relationship's bank account. And so we can feel disconnected, and the relationship can start to suffer. And so one of the nice things about this exercise is that we can use it to re-engage with each other, to form a new connection. And it's a simple exercise. It's a practical exercise. It should only take you about 10 minutes a day to do this exercise. If you get moving through the 5 steps of this exercise and you want to go longer, I suggest that you talk to each other about it and make that particular night a night that you spend longer time talking. Because I don't want this exercise to become something that becomes unreasonable to do in 10 minutes. And so you can have a longer discussion if you'd like to, but we want this exercise to be something that's reasonable to do in about 10 minutes a day. So this exercise is also fantastic for families, for parents to do with their children, and those connections can also wither and grow stale. We get into the busyness of life, we get into our routines, go to work, go to school, and those sorts of things, sports, clubs, activities, and we can grow disconnected through all those things as well. So this exercise can be fantastic for family connection as well. So here we go. The first step of the exercise is to share an appreciation. And in that appreciation, it can be anything big or small. And there's always something to be grateful about. Your husband may have picked up his socks this morning, which he normally doesn't do. And you can say, boy, I'm really grateful that you picked up your socks this morning. And so it can be something small like that, or it can be something about somebody's character that you really appreciate. So take a moment to think about that. Share an appreciation. You each take a turn. You go from number one to number 2. You each take a turn at number 1, go on to number 2. And so an appreciation is shared at number 1, and then we move on to the second one, which is new information. And so we each go to different places throughout our day. We listen to different radio stations. We talk to different people. We do different things at our workplaces. And so we have a lot of new information. It may not seem important to us, but it may be important for our partners to hear a little bit about our day. So in question number 2, we just share a little bit about the new information from our day. And so it can be short and sweet, but we share a little bit there, each take a turn, and then we move on to step 3, which is puzzles. And a puzzle is just anything that's been banging around in your head a little bit that you haven't quite figured out yet. And you're not asking for a problem-solving conversation here. You're just wanting to put it out there, because sometimes your partner can tune into the fact that you're not present and available in the relationship. And it's usually because you're puzzled about something. It may be something about work or a friendship or something about the marriage. But it's good to get that stuff out there and get it on the table. And this is one of those areas where you may want to talk further, and that's okay, but talk about it first. So that you can, once again, keep this exercise to a reasonable amount of time. And so you move on from puzzles, each taking a turn, move on to the next one. And the next one is a slippery slope. And so let me frame it up just right for you. The next one is complaint with request for change. Now, the whole reason for this one at number 4 is for you to make a statement to get something off your chest. That is the goal. And so it can be a complaint about work. It can be a complaint about a peer. It can be a complaint about a friend. It could be a complaint about one of your kids. And so you make your statement. Try to be as clear about that as you can, specific about a behavior as you can. So you make your complaint about a specific behavior, and then you make your wish or your hope specific as well. Something about something changing. So an example might be, last night you cut me off in mid-sentence when I was speaking, and I would like that to be different, and I would like to be able to complete a conversation sentence when I speak. And so you're saying that not with an expectation for change, but to simply get it off your chest. And it's an amazing thing that change often happens more often in our partners when we don't attach an expectation to that statement. And so it works kind of paradoxically in that way. So, and it can be a complaint about anything, like I mentioned. It could be a complaint about your partner as well. So, complaint with a request for change. You each take an opportunity to state that, and then you move on to number 5. And number 5 is hopes, wishes, and dreams. And we all had hopes, wishes, and dreams growing up. We all had them at the early part of our relationship, in the early part of our careers. And this is an opportunity to begin reconnecting with those hopes, wishes, and dreams. But we want to keep it simple as well. So it could be a hope for tonight, a hope for tomorrow morning, a hope for next week, a hope for this month, or it can be a dream about your life, a dream about next year, or a dream about 5 years from now, or a hope and a dream about 10 years from now. And so take your time with it, sit it out there, something simple, something a little bit more profound, and it can be a hope, wish, or dream about the relationship as well. But something for you to think about for a moment and then to share with your partner. And so we get lost sometimes from our hopes, wishes, and dreams. This is an opportunity for you as you practice this exercise to get reacquainted with some of the things maybe that you've lost touch with as an individual. Whether it's about your relationship and losing touch with that, whether it's about relationships within the family and your kids, relationships with your career and your career hopes, relationships with where you thought you would be at this point in your life, and all those things that are important. So once again, 10 minutes a day, 5 questions. You each answer 1 question at a time before moving on. You don't have a longer discussion unless you stop and talk about having a longer discussion first. If you're a family and you're thinking about instituting this at the dinner table at night with your kids, fantastic exercise to do that with. And just explain these rules to your kids as well as I've explained them to you. And it'll work really well. We've used this in family therapy sessions to train families how to reconnect around a special time in the evening. Can do this at bedtime as well, dinner time as well, coming home from a sporting activity. You can do it in the car. So very flexible exercise. So this really works well. Hope it brings a new connection for you folks. And so stay tuned. I'm going to be coming up with very soon a new relationship course that I'm going to be creating especially for couples who want to rejuvenate their relationship. So stay tuned. If you need us, we're at Kenosis Counseling Center, Kenosis Counseling Center at Facebook, and you can reach us at kenosiscenter.com for any of your other counseling needs. We do live sessions. We also do phone and video sessions as well. So take care, and God bless.